So this is another example of the reason that we're going off the rails with this policy is because we are not grounding ourselves in, first of all, in the statute of why this policy was created, nor are we grounding ourselves back to KBB in terms of the model policy that they presented. I'm really confused of all the policies we've talked tonight, why this policy was delegated to you, Director Peterson, to provide revisions, and that no staff were, that it was not delegated to staff like all the other policy revisions we have. And the reason I ask that is because, to me, this policy is owned by our DAC, because that's what statute says. Statute says the board shall work with the parent members of the DAC in creating, adopting, reviewing, and implementing this policy. That's the law. I was watching again the board meeting, and Director Peterson, you were on to something when you were asking the question, well, why is this KBB and KBB has a KB policy? Well, the reason is that when we developed this policy, Director Lung, Stacy Rader, I think Council Jacobs too, Director Lung sat on the SACPI board. I mean, he was actually, helping develop this law. And we were ahead of the game in terms of creating our engagement policy. That's where this original policy came from. You will see that our policy was 2018. If you look at KBB's model policy, it was 2021. So that's why there's two different versions, is because we were ahead of the game. We came out, we worked with our DAC, we worked with the legal counsel to create our engagement, the original engagement policy. And so where we're going off the rails is that we're not grounding ourselves back to the intent of the law behind an engagement policy. And the intent was to make sure that we worked with our DAC to produce such a policy. And this is what engagement sounds like. Consult and encourage parents and families to share in school district planning, help parents and families understand the educational process, inform of school choices. Those are statements about engagement, not constitutional rights. And that's where I think we've gone off the rails, is that for some reason, I think you felt, Director Peterson, this was a place to insert that constitutional right. I don't think we're the authority of parenting. I don't think we should be telling parents that you can raise your child as you see fit. I don't think that's our responsibility. But you're right, there's constitutional rights that are given to parents, but that's the Constitution. We are about board policy, about aligning to state statute. And so I would just tell you this policy really is out of whack compared to what it should be. And I would motion that we postpone any revisions to this policy until it has been properly reviewed by our DAC, our SACs, aligned with KBB's model policy, and ample time provided for community and staff feedback.